any thoughts on Silent Hill 2 remake? Because you were telling me that you are maybe not a big
I
fan of.
I don't like that game. Like
Oh,
I can recognize it is a well-made game. It looks fine. Uh, I don't like the combat at all, and I'm not like 15 minutes into it. I'm in the second apartment building. Like I saw Pyramid Head at least once, and it just made me laugh because I'm like, it's funny that the most recognizable monster in this fucking franchise is a guy with the traffic cone on his head. Like,
but that
really?
makes it different, right? Like he's
No.
you can spot
And
him far away. You know that's Pyramid.
and it was dumb because like I'm in a closet and he comes like right up to me, and my this isn't a cutscene by the way, and my character like shoots him twice in the
Hmm.
head, and he just like turns around and walks off, and I was like,
Right.
what? Like, okay, what just happened? Uh, yeah, I don't like that game. I don't like. I think the puzzles are kind of lame. I really hate the like magically warping in enemies,
Okay.
or the
Yeah.
enemies just like randomly spawn. Like that really ticks me off. I don't like the thing that comes with the PlayStation 5 controller. Like the that's like the only way you can actually see enemies is like with the audio proximity thing.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I don't like it.
It feels like they kind of
I'm in the
want
mi-
you to. Yeah.
I'm in the minority because well, I think it's like fans of that game like it,
Yeah.
but it's like, well, I didn't play that game originally, and you made the comment like, oh, people, because I was like, the combat's bad, and you're like, well, it's a Silent Hill game, it's supposed to be bad, or it's like what
Well,
it's
they're
like.
regular people. He's not Leon Kennedy. He's a regular person, right?
Leon Kennedy was a regular person, like
Leon Kennedy is a cop. Like,
that's a
he's
regular person,
he has. I mean, we don't know really. I know he's a rookie at that point in two at least.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, and that's fair because in two you don't do a ton of combat. You do a bunch of shooting and stuff. But like in four, he's much more of a veteran, so it
no,
makes more sense that he's
four
you
makes
know
because he's like he becomes a government agent guy. Yeah, that
right.
that makes more sense. But like even like Resident Evil 2, regular guy, or even Claire was like she's not like a cop, she's just a
Right,
regular
she's not.
person. I mean,
But
so
I think it's supposed to make you feel like, what if this was you that was having this problem? And how would you deal with that? And yeah, I do feel like for the most part they have improved that game a lot from the original. Um, I think I agree with you on the if you have complaints or maybe just I think I understand that from the perspective of it's not like you were a big fan of the game and then all of a sudden they ruined this one. It's like maybe you just
right,
weren't a fan of the game originally either.
yeah.
Um, so
I
that
actually like
makes more
I saw
sense.
some Kotaku thing about like what the game would look like without fog.
Mhm.
Like, and I was like, I want that. Like,
I mean,
I'd
but
rather
that's
just
the whole point of that game, though. Like
yeah,
the whole graphical aesthetic and all that is like, oh, it's the fog, right?
right.
You can clearly see where Alan Wake 2 got some of that inspiration from. Is that game?
Yeah,
Um,
but I still think like Alan Wake 2 does it better, or
I can
especially or even the
understand
first
that.
one. Yeah,
It has
it's like,
better combat for sure.
yeah, it's like this
Yeah.
game could have learned a thing or two from Alan Wake.
I think they were just too worried about they didn't want to change it too much, right? Because then you
Right.
had with that kind of when you haven't had a Silent Hill game in so long. I think
Right.
it's not
Or
like Resident Evil where you had games still happening, right? And then they
right.
introduced these remakes, and it's like, oh my god, this is so much. This is a better version of that. But two was already great, right? They just remade it, and then obviously it's being remade from a PS1 game instead of a game, even a PS2 game. So I think
Yeah, PS2. Yeah.
it's one of those where you're looking at that and just I think they wanted to make sure they nailed it because it's not like this isn't Capcom making it. This is a team that doesn't have a great history when it comes to like their games aren't beloved, you
Right.
know. Uh
So probably like the weirdos.
right, it's like yeah, and it's like the medium totally bombed for most people. So that's what you're coming off of and then they have this big triumph like this already has people with the rumors you talked about last week about 3 and 1 probably being their other 2 projects that are in development. So, and it wouldn't make any sense, even though I understand 3 has less for you to do because it's a PS3 game at that point.
No, Silent Hill 2, 3, and 4 were all PS2 games.
Okay, they're all, but still, it's easier for them to do and work with than going back to the PS1 Silent Hill 1 game. So
Right.
I understand if 3 ones are coming out before 1, but it doesn't make any sense chronologically if you're going to do the same story because Silent Hill 3 goes right after 1. So,
Yeah.
But we'll see what winds up happening. I'm sure it'll be a while before we get.
And like I said, I don't think Silent Hill 2 remake is like a bad game. It's just
Yeah,
completely not for me, So
and that's fair. I'm glad you're saying that it's just not
yeah,
for you.
I played it like 3 hours. Like
Right.
I didn't put like just 15 minutes into it. And like it's like I know I
I
stuck
mean, you'd
around.
be if it was the old game, you'd been like halfway through by then.
Right.
It's just they made this game longer, so it's almost 20 hours. I think is what I've seen
Yeah.
most people say.